Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Coffee. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I forgot to do the opposite thing that I normally do. I forgot to mute my audio before playing the intro. Well, good thing I was being fairly quiet. Oh, I also forgot to turn the dinosaur on. Whoops. Well, I will try to fix that here. All right, and while I do that, I will discover that these gloves are not touchscreen friendly. And let's see here. There we go. And now we should have some dinosaur inflation. Also, let's see if maybe we might have some chat inflation. Our chat rate is currently 2, and I have 5 concurrent viewers, and I'm thinking some of those numbers might be slightly off because I see we have Thomas Armstrong. Yeep. Hi, Thomas. We have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hi, Dave. We have Francois. Hi, Francois. We have 0.5. Quack. Hi, 0.5. Francois was thinking I was going to be late, possibly, but oh, now it means it's 3 a.m. where he is already. That's why he's reacting in the chat. We have Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. Hi, Jeremy. Francois says, I finally changed the keyboard on my ThinkPad. Right click was broken for like 3 weeks. Ah, excellent. Feels odd having an almost new keyboard even though it's refurbished. Well, excellent. We have Gut Bomb. Hi, Jason. Yes, it is Mac Plus time. Gut Bomb says, I just got mine too. Awesome. And we have Jesse, I8386SX. Hi, Jesse. Hopefully you haven't had an awful eBay customer in 2025 so far. All right, let's see here. I do have a coffee goal. Whoop, I did remember I was going to turn the goal bar on. So I will just have to do that as I change scenes because it is January. That means VCF East is coming up in like a little over 3 weeks. And therefore, I have the goal to make sure I can get to VCF East. And I am going to fill out the application to be an exhibitor as soon as I can figure out what to type in the fields. I do know they're going to charge me $20 per table up front, so there's that expense right off the bat. So if you can help or would like to help, the link is in the video description. And let's see here. We got more comments here. Gut Bomb, I didn't realize my Mac Plus was a beige one until I retrobrited it. Yes. Jeremy says, of all things, I was playing with AI to generate music yesterday. Okay. Let's see here. Ah. Jesse says, that guy that gave me the negative changed it when I gave him an intelligent answer. That's a first. Jeremy says, I no longer have a trident. Well, I think someone had gifted you a membership, so hopefully that might happen again. That the trident means that you have a channel membership. Yeah, from YouTube. Anyways, we have Quicksilver AUS. Hi, Quicksilver. Quicksilver says, greetings, programs. All right. Let's see here. I think first I should probably briefly open this box up that I have here. It was in the mail. Oh, we have Gut Bomb, a contently satisfied channel member. Yay! Alright, so this package comes from Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. And the color of the box is probably a hint as to what might be inside. Gut Bum says, I really wanted to try Dent. Yes! Yeah, alright. We've got... Ooh. Oh, wow. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. I knew Jeremy had kept some of these for himself, so I was perplexed as to why I could not find the, Jeremy, did I, like, screw up your channel name again? Yes. These are from Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. So, if I can... There we go. It is... Sorry, Jeremy. I did it again. I have no idea. Yes, and these are 100% Jeremy's design, and I don't remember what he was calling this because it's not silk screened on the board. That's... Jeremy will probably remind me in the chat. But anyways, Jeremy sent me 3 of these boards, so if I screw up one, I have 2 spares. Yes, it's the Pequeño Cubo Prototype V1. Hopefully we don't have to do factors here, but that's just emphatic. Yeah, I will get your channel name straight at some point. It's probably because I'm staring at a Mac Plus, and Dave sent me a Mac Plus case. Because this definitely isn't for vintage Apple tech. So, now you're probably asking, what is the Pequeño Cubo? And it is a board for one of the 86 Duino modules, which are x86 compatible. Got the plug for the ATX power supply. We have a PCI Express X1 slot. SATA. This is for USB and Ethernet and your 12-volt power. So you can power it with, I think, 12-volt. Oh, that's the 12-volt power for the Pico PSU that you can plug into the board. Yeah, Jeremy says the Vortex 86EX 300 megahertz, 128 megabyte RAM to be exact. So we have so I have 3 of these boards, and interestingly enough, my Mauser order arrived today, although I do not have the system on module yet. So I have, in no particular order here, a PCI Express slot, which, is you do know, Jeremy, you picked an angled connector. So the PCI Express card is going to be angled. So we have capacitors for a completely different project. Before Jeremy's like, wait a minute, I didn't have capacitors on my list, did I? We've got our 12-volt power supply. Hi, Callan, welcome. Our 12-volt power connector. It's just a barrel power connector. 16-pin dip sockets for a completely different project. 24... the Molex connector for the Pico PSU. I was staring at that at a moment. I'm like, did I order the wrong headers? Some more dip sockets for a completely separate project. Just making sure Jeremy knows that he didn't, like, put all this stuff on his parts list. Some of these are for a different project. More capacitors for a different project. Some 75 189s for a completely separate project. Some 75 188s for a completely separate project. I'm going to have to set these off to the side because I'm running out of room on the Mac Plus to set them. All right. Oh, more dip sockets for a completely separate project. Here we go. The USB and Ethernet connector, which I'm hoping is the correct one because Mauser was out of stock of the one that Jeremy gave me. Yes, Jeremy's board does not have any capacitors. So let's make sure this fits because I had to substitute parts. And it fits. I think the only difference between this one and the one Jeremy specified was, I think the LED colors or something like that. All right, but it fits, so we're good there. We have a battery holder for a completely separate project. And last but not least, yes, I think we should have a SATA connector. Jeremy says the LEDs will not function yet. Well, since the LEDs will not function yet, I will not be able to determine that the only difference, or will potentially not be able to determine that the only difference is LED color. Because they make those connectors with, like, multiple different LED colors, and I think most PC motherboards usually pick the same ones for probably because consumers expect certain colors, but for certain equipment, you might have different colors. So anyways, I'll just kind of... So there we go. When this is together, you'll have the SATA connector to be able to plug in a SATA drive. And here I am going to dry fit these parts here just to kind of whet everyone's appetite. Even though I know it's not December anymore, but hey. So there we go. We got the ATX power for a Pico PSU. Oh, I also had to substitute the barrel jack part because, interestingly enough, Mauser ran out of stock of the one Jeremy specified, but I can't tell any difference at all. I'm like, what's up with Mauser running out of all of Jeremy's parts? So, and then last but not least, we have this cute little... Now, I don't have the system on module, so I can't, like, dry fit that. It's the pins are surface mount anyways, but there we go. Kind of give you an idea. There's your USB ports, your keyboard, or your network. The barrel jack for the external power. I've got pin headers, so I didn't order any. Your SATA for hard drive. Your PCI Express X1 so that you can plug in whatever VGA you want. And ATX power. And then the system on module goes in this cute little space right there. So in fact, actually, the system on module is almost... I think it might be smaller than the ATX power connector. They're kind of tiny. Well, maybe not quite that small. But anyways, there you go. Kind of whet your appetite for this project. As soon as I can get the system on module, which I will get as soon as I can, we'll build it. And as for the other parts that were in the Mauser order, and I'm going to... and I will get to everyone that just joined the chat here momentarily. As for the other parts that I have in this order, I have a... yes, I ordered a battery holder that has pins on it, pre-connected, because I'm tired of having to reset settings in certain motherboards, so at least I can put 3 AAA batteries in here and plug it in as an external battery, and it has the pins already on it, because I tried crimping some pins onto a headerless battery terminal, and I have no idea why I had so much trouble crimping pins. Jesse will probably be like in the chat, I've sell those in my eBay store. I think I placed my my Mauser order before I saw that, Jesse. So anyways, that's for PC motherboards. It just unfortunately arrived after December. The capacitors are so that I can recap 2 SATA backplanes and some cases that I have, one of which is because my NAS is going in one of the cases, and I'm going to recap the SATA backplane boards first, just for good measure. These chips are for the multi-IO card I have in my IBM XT, so that I can install a second serial UART. Those are the RS-232 transceiver chips. And then finally, last but not least, why I would even mention these is these are for computer, so that I can finally put computer back together again. I got rounded sockets to replace the ones that Apple intended for ribbon cables to be plugged into, because the standard sockets, you can't plug the ribbon cable pins in far enough. So, but I did realize that the pins are narrow enough that you can use a rounded socket, and there's no lip on them. So that will not prevent the cable from seating properly. And that's why I had keyboard problems, is because the cable wasn't seating properly. But anyways, Gutbob says, actually, I was wrong. It's not Dosuary, it's Jankuary. Yeah, I guess the big bad biologist probably is all behind that. But anyways, thank you, Jeremy, for thinking about me when you designed these and wanted someone to be able to build one to test. Looking forward to get the system on module so we can give it a try. And for anyone that saw that that PCI Express to PCI adapter board I bought on eBay, I think I showed it on Wheel of Regrets a couple weeks ago. This is the board that adapter's for. So anyways, more to come on that. All right, let me go set this aside so that I don't lose any of it. Fun fact, that's actually the second time I've ordered the capacitors for those SATA backplanes. I have no idea where the first ones I ordered went. I'll probably find them after I recap the board. Yeah, all these on my shelf items. All right. Now, let's catch up on the chat here. All right, I'm going to work my way up. So, yeah, hi, Kevin. We have Kevin Moonlight just joined. Kevin says, Jankuary all year. Yeah. Jesse says, my eBay store is very sad right now. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll restock when you can. Jeremy wants to finish the case design for that thing. All right, well, I feel the pressure, Jeremy. Francois says, replying to Gutbomb says it's Dosuary. So Francois says, oh, cool. So I can still do this DOS stuff I didn't have time on December. Yeah. And Jesse's saying that Jeremy bought all the parts I couldn't order. So yeah, Jeremy said the The goal of my PCB is to allow flexibility in what VGA and sound cards the end user wants. That's the goal. All right. We have Retro Tech Chris. Hi, Chris. We have Starbuck Tech. Hi, Starbuck Tech. Let's see here. Retro Tech Chris says, I ordered one of those ITX Llama boards, which has a Vortex CPU. And, cool. Yeah, I think Jeremy is trying to come up with another design for reasons that have to do with some of the other designs either being limiting or no longer supported or using parts you can't order. Jeremy can comment in the chat as much as he wants, but Gutbomb says Gutbomb sees a bear board. Gutbomb wants to design a case for it. Yes. Jeremy says that was on purpose. Okay. That's fine. Jeremy says, perfect for MS-DOS and maybe Windows 98. Now I'm adding the maybe because if you'll remember, Jeremy, Colin of This Does Not Compute tried to install Windows 98 on one of those bump bars, which uses the same processor, and I don't think he got it installed. So I don't know what the holdup was, but yeah, we'll say maybe 98 because I don't know what his holdup was. All right, if I missed you in the chat, then feel free to say hi again. Yeah, Chris says, the Gutbomb, if you would want to design a case for the ITX Llama, that would be amazing. Frank and I were talking about asking you to consider doing that. Peer pressure. All right. So we have the Mac Plus here that I bought from Mercari that arrived in more pieces than I was expecting. Although, yes, for anyone wondering, did I just say Mercari? Yes, I did. This is one of those rare regrets that did not come from eBay. The place where I buy the things I later regret. Well, the long story short, to catch everyone up to speed, the seller jammed this Mac Plus in the carrying bag that was included with it, and then jammed that into a shipping box with no respect for how fragile this plastic is and how rough a courier can be with packages. I think they might have slapped the fragile label on it, but I think that just simply told the courier to treat like football, not treat like this is your grandmother's prized cake going to the potluck in a fragile dish. And she's carrying it in her lap, and she's wearing a white dress, and there's like red frosting on it. Or something that would be a travesty if it gets on her dress. Anyways. So, yeah, Fragile is, I guess, the French football team. Francois says, yeah, Fragile means only do rugby with it. Yes, for our international viewers, yes, you can substitute rugby or Aussie rules football. I don't know that I can really say soccer, or I guess football or association football, because they don't throw the ball, but yes, American football, rugby, Aussie rules football. Yeah, that Fragile is a team for one of them, apparently. Anyways, the case was broken. Case is very broken. In fact, you can see there's a chip here. Here's where the screws mounts used to be to hold the case on. The front of this case is very cracked. In fact, actually, I will show you the cracks on the case once I get everything out. I'm not going to try to do it before I get stuff out. Jeremy says, yeah, Francois says, soccer, you usually kick the ball with the foot. Yeah, I've seen things that look like they threw the box, not just kicked it. So, Callan says, reminds me of the time I bought 2C and monitor. He packed the monitor on top of the 2C with nearly no packing. Neither made it in one piece. Oof. Jesse says, and that football team they used to deliver it was the Tennessee Titans. Ouch. All right, but anyways, so this was in January last year. I'd been looking for a replacement case because the thing is, this Mac Plus works. Somehow, despite the extensive case damage, it works. I mean, it powered up, it has a good picture, the tube's not broken. It works. So, I mean, Mercari does not allow partial refunds. So, if I had told the seller that I wanted to return it because it arrived damaged, I would have had to have put the broken pieces in the case and box they sent it to me in because they improperly packed it, and well, it's not like I'm going to spend money to make sure the item gets back to them when I only get what I paid for it in a return. I couldn't do that because I knew it would probably be sayonara Mac Plus if I did that, and the thing works electrically well. I mean, it's awesome. But I haven't been able to use it because of the cracks in the front and the case and whatnot. So, over the past year, I've been looking for a case, and I had some other people looking for a case, and finally, I think in, what was it, October or November, I managed to find one on eBay that was a case. It looked like it was in decent shape. It was quite yellowed, though, and I bought it. And, of course, it arrived damaged because starting to think the problem might be my address not packing. I mean, they had packed it fairly well, and I can't say the damage was caused in shipping, but it could have just been they took really lousy photos. Anyways, I tried to return it. They started counter-offering. And finally, after the third counter-offer, it dropped low enough that I figured, okay, well, I can still use the case. Dave offered to restore the case, so I'll show off Dave's restoration again. Anyways, I've got the case back from Dave. It looks fantastic. The damage that was on that case, Dave repaired. You won't be able to see. I mean, you'll be able to see the repair if you're looking for it, but I have a feeling if you don't look for it, you might miss it. It looks pretty good. In fact, this Mac Plus might be one of the computers I take to VCF East. It would kind of be up there on things I might take. Or at least one of the Mac Pluses. But this one is probably high on my list. So I think without further ado, I think it's probably time to start removing parts. Jesse says, Francois says, I much prefer Sarcastaball. Jesse says, I take that back. The Raiders have the most fumbles in the NFL this year. Tennessee is a close second. Gutbomb says, I'm going to be pedantic and say that football and American football, association football, rugby football, and Aussie rules comes from it being a ball game played on foot, not horseback like polo. Yeah. Francois says, or whatever it's called in the English South Park. Oh, okay. So, let's get the parts out of this case. Now, if we have time, then I may start to install some parts that Gutbomb sent me. I was kind of waiting until I had a case to put this in. So I should have those parts. All right, it looks like... Oh! Looks like everything's already unplugged from the analog board. So, Gutbomb, you sent me a a 3D printed battery holder that I think takes a coin cell battery and has a DB9 for RGB to HDMI or something like that. And this is the one I was going to put it in because the battery holder has 2 of its tabs broken. So, alright. Interestingly enough, I think this is like one of the few Mac Pluses that didn't have refas on it. So, have not had to replace any refa caps. And I do not believe I've recapped this board. I probably will at some point, just because these caps will probably eventually start to leak, but for now, since it still works, I'm going to leave it that way. There we go. There's the analog board. Ah, yes. Oh, Gutbum says, I just redesigned that this week to use the new Hotness Ron's VGA boards. Oh, well. That's okay. I don't mind using RGB to HDMI. It's a digital signal. Alright. So, alright, I am setting these parts off to the side. I have the logic board already set off to the side. And I have a space set up. Actually, I'm going to move the logic board. I have a space set up to set the CRT on. Only because I don't want to... RetroTech Chris, comments about the, I think, case he's trying to get Gutbom to design. Alright. So, there we go. There's... one... 2... Oh, let me turn that completely around. 3... and 4. Yes, I don't want to reach over the neck of the CRT. Alright, so we have the CRT. It's in decent shape. I mean, there's a few kind of mild abrasions on the front. But other than that, is in great shape, so I'm going to set it in the spot I have set aside specifically for it. And then I'm going to remove I'm just going to remove this entire frame. Although I believe my replacement case has a frame in it. But I might as well remove this frame because I'll hold on to it as a spare part, or in case I ever run across a need to replace a rusty frame, or someone tells me they're trying to replace a rusty frame, I can at least have a frame. The case itself, though, is... I'll keep some plastic bits for plastic repair, but the case is pretty much not worth keeping in its whole because it's that broken. Also, keeping these screws that hold the frame in is also a good thing. Anyways, there we go. Actually, all right. I'll swap the floppy drive over, but actually, I guess I might as well remove the floppy drive. Oh, but first, let's see if we can't take a closer look at the damage that was on this case. So there's yet another plastic bit that was kind of hanging out behind the oh, yep. Just as I now remember, one of the CRT standoffs was actually completely broken. So yeah, some of that shipping damage included this crack here. Let me zoom in a little more. And there's the crack. So this crack, I think, extends up to about here. But I'm afraid it might have started extending more. Not only that, but it was cracked here. I'm flexing the case a little bit to make the crack more obvious. So there was a crack there, below the screen there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, oh, maybe not. I was thinking there was a crack here too. But anyways, this crack is why I've had this thing face down for at least the past like 3 to 6 months when I noticed it, because I was afraid that the CRT, given this crack here, if the CRT shifted or external stress might cause this crack to grow. I just didn't want to risk a good Mac because those sheared off. That was broken there. So yeah, CRT was held on by 3 tabs basically. So yeah, I'll probably pop the Apple logo off this case. There's just too much damage to try to repair. And the fact is, I sent some plastic bits to Dave for Dave to be able to restore the case I sent him. So I actually don't have all the plastic bits needed to repair the case anymore. One case had to provide donor bits for repair, and this case was the source of the donor bits. All right. Well, that's weird. Why is Okay, so why is this screw here not even lined up with the hole? How are you supposed to get that screw out? Please don't tell me they expected you to... Let me guess. This is how you're supposed to get the floppy drive out. Ah. Alright, well. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Alright. Alright, well, there's the floppy drive. And I guess while I have it this far apart, I might as well clean and lubricate it. Alright, there's that. Oh, interesting. There's no top cover on it. Well, that sure makes that easy. Oh, yeah, look at that old grease. Alright. Yeah, I was wearing the. I think they're. I think they're actually like not anti-static or I don't know what they're rated. But anyways, I was wearing those gloves just because I was going to be handling the glass CRT tube. But I will, since I actually need to clean and lubricate a floppy drive, I will use something that's actually good for solvents. All right. So let's see here. If I remember how to. Oh, wait a minute. Is this already? Oh, this mechanism is already pushed down. Oh, interesting. So it looks like I should just be able to. I must have dropped one of my pairs of tweezers on the floor or something because I have not been able to find them. Oh, please, while I look on the floor for the tweezers that I have apparently dropped on the floor because they are not on the top of my bench. Oh, never mind. They are on the top of my bench. They're just like underneath all the cables to the side. All right. Yeah, Dave says this is a good idea to go ahead and service this. I think I have it on good authority since the drive is already in the pushed down position that it probably wasn't in any condition to read discs anyways. All right. Get that piece up. Because in my recounting of the Mac Plus working electrically, I probably didn't test the floppy drive. That's kind of the one part that I pretty much expect it's going to need cleaned by this point. So it's not included in the I tested it. I think someone might have had this drive apart before. Because it would appear as if I'm missing. Ah. Okay. This one's torn. This one's torn. This one's torn. This one's missing. Someone's been in here before. Yes, someone has been in this Mac Plus before. That's probably why there wasn't a top cover on it. Because I thought these drives had a top cover, but I could be wrong. Maybe the 800K ones in the Plus did not have a top cover. Someone that. All right, well, I won't let this stop me, but this drive may be. Oh, Oh, Gupom says they don't have a top cover. Okay. I'm still wondering if someone's been in here because... Or maybe these just broke with old age. I don't know. One of them is missing, and that's... Maybe it fell off. Anyways, we'll continue without it. I don't have any spare 800K drives to put in here, so... If I had spare 800K drives, I would be tempted to make my Mac 512K that has a 400K floppy drive. I would be partly tempted to make it an enhanced model because I have the capability because I have a spare enhanced board, but I definitely do not have the spare floppy drives to do that. Yeah, Gutbomb is saying the missing washer is suspect. All right. Okay, looks... Yeah, I don't see broken plastic here, so should be good there. Ew, more crustiness. All right. So there we go. We're down to the base. So hopefully we can get this back up to tip-top shape. I do usually first like to work on these because if I completely mess the gearbox up, then there's no use of me trying to fix anything else until I get the parts to repair that. So I do have replacement gears from Mac Effects. They're not a sponsor. Although I think they did give me a super chat once, or a super sticker. But they're not a sponsor. So I picked them because, I don't know, there's just some things that I think it's better to have in molded plastic, and the cheese gear is one of them. All right. Place your bets as to how many pieces this cheese gear is going to break into during or slightly after removal. So you put your guess in the chat while I look for something a bit more substantial to remove it with. Maybe, because... Oh! Oh! Well, if you guessed two, then they've guessed two. Conveniently right about the same time as I'm removing it. Oh, but I think there were some teeth missing from it. So actually, it broke into two pieces when I removed it, but I believe the tooth was probably broken previously. So I think the correct answer still is two. That's how many pieces it broke into when I removed it, because that was my question. All right. Dave says, ask me how I know. Probably because most often they break into two pieces. Dave's probably repaired a number of these drives. All right. So let's see if I can't... I do not know where my foam swabs have gone. Actually, wait. I should have a. Oh, you know, I might need to order more. Maybe that's why I can't find. Maybe I have finally used all of them and I just didn't realize it. All right. Not to worry. I will just use Q-tips and just will be very careful. Oh, because I have like one foam swab left. So, all right. Now, I did recently purchase one of those push top alcohol bottles so that I don't have to keep doing this because, as you all know, I often knock my isopropyl alcohol over. So I got one of those push top things, which probably won't stop me from knocking the bottle over, but hopefully will stop me from having to pour isopropyl alcohol into a cup so that I can then clean things. Because the thing is, that's what I usually knock over, not the bottle itself. All right, let me see if I can remove the green from this gear. Or at least the green part that looks like it's a blob of something. All right. So I will try to clean the old lubrication out. And then I will completely re-lubricate it. All right. Clean this gear off. There we go. That looks good. All right, let that dry while I clean that goop off there. All right, let that dry. And let me clean the crusty. Kind of looks like lithium grease that's kind of dry and crusty. We'll get rid of that. I can just put some fresh lithium grease on that, or machine oil. It depends on where the kind of depends on where the slide is and how likely machine oil is to, if I put too much, to drip onto the floppy disk. So if in a properly oriented Mac Plus case, the oil has no chance or very little chance of getting on the floppy disk, I'll probably use machine oil because it will stay, I think it'll stay oilier longer, especially because those places are also places where the machine oil will basically be between two pieces of metal. But in the places where it would be pretty high likelihood that it would could drip on the floppy disk if I get too much on it, that's where I will use lithium grease. Yeah. Oh, hi, Mega. Welcome. Mega says usually use lithium grease for this. Yeah, I usually do too, but there are a few spots where I think I find machine oil works really well. They've kind of warmed me up to using some some machine oil. There still are a few spots I like to use lithium grease. All right. There's that. And now, zoom back out a little bit so we can see what I'm doing. Like, this part here might be one that I might use a little bit of machine oil because it's below the disc. So with the case upright, there's no chance that machine oil can get on the disc because it's below the disc. Thomas Armstrong says I use an aircraft light lithium grease. I may have to look for that. Assuming it doesn't have a price multiplier for being an airplane specialty part. A huge multiplier. Reasonable multiplication that might be. Definitely would be a high grade, but it costs 10 times as much because it has an FAA number on it. I'm like, no, thank you. $20 for 20 grams. Oh, okay, that's probably not too bad. I might check that out for some spots where I would like to put something slightly better than the normal stuff. All right, let's try to get this old lithium grease off. See if I can't spin the lead screw here. Yeah, Thomas Armstrong says you don't need much. Yeah. Well, that's something you can get away with using just a little bit that might make it worth the extra cost. Well, there we go. Use the end of the Q-tip. I will trying to save my foam swab for the floppy drive heads. All right. I think that looks pretty good there. All right, let me see if I can reach the one foam swab I see. All right. I want to very carefully lift that up and all right. There we go. Ah, Thomas Armstrong says it's light and thin and does not bring the dust in. Okay, so there we go. There's that. So let's start with this. These gearboxes are a place where I do like to use sewing machine oil because I think it gets into the small spots nicely, and because of where this is located, I'm less worried that it would affect the floppy disk if I get too much on. Because the the nature of it being a gearbox, it kind of holds it in. Yeah, they've used the sewing machine oil in this spot too. All right. Let's see here. Let me get a new Mac Effects gear. Well, actually, they're Kairos Mac mods, Tuno gears that made in Japan, and Mac Effects is an authorized distributor. Drop one of these in, and I'll put just a little dab of oil on there, and on that gear. And then there we go. Wait a minute, that's not right. Like, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. No, that gear has to turn something. Yeah, there we go. It was like that. There we go. Oh, hold on. Let me let gear one more time. Straighten that out. I like to make sure this is as close to that position as possible or thereabouts. All right, so there we go. We've got that. We got the gearbox lubricated. Actually, I think I just realized I like the 800K drives gearbox because it doesn't use a clip to hold part of it on. It's 3 screws. Because on the high density floppy drives, it's got clips, and I break the clips like way too often. There we go. There's that. And now we've got a there we go. One repaired gearbox. All right. Let me put the cap on the oil, and let me dab. I got a little bit too much oil on the surface of this gear here. Just want the oil on the teeth. All right, there we go. So that's back together. All right, next, get the floppy drive itself, starting with this. So we've got these points here. And again, because it's on the bottom, I think I am going to use machine oil. All right, that feels nice and smooth there. All right. Again, I will take my Q-tip And Thomas has put the name of the grease in the chat. It's Mollycoat EM30L grease. All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, so there we go. There's that. So let me put the 3 washers back on. I wish I had 4. I only have 3 of them, so that's probably enough to hold this down with careful usage. All right. There we go. That feels good. It feels really good. All right. So now I think I can put the gearbox back on because the next piece goes on the top. Oh, but first let me get the lead screw. All right, for the lead screw, this is a spot where I do kind of like to use lithium grease. Oh, only because it's so close to the disc. All right, I think that. There we go. Get it off that surface so it doesn't get on the floppy disk. Yeah, well, I guess the other reason I'm using white lithium there is because I can't say that I got all of the original lubricant off. So I'm going to use the same thing that was there. Plus, it's not in a spot where I'm afraid that it'll mix with oil, so I'm not too not too concerned for that. All right. So now should be able to put this back into place. Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the oil under this slide or in the gearbox mixing with this white lithium grease. All right. So now for this one here, I'm probably going to use white lithium on it as well. All right. So this. Remember how it goes. There we go. There we go. There we go. And now I will get some white lithium and we'll very lightly dab it on the wear point. Okay. So now I push the. Oh, there it is. All right. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. We gotta. Huh. It's I got it to stay up once. Oh, there we go. Weird. Like there's a spring or something missing or out of place. Oh, that doesn't go there. Oh, maybe that's the springlet. So that spring does go there. Another spring missing from this? Maybe? Staying in the hmm. All right. Well, there are a few spots that I did miss. Let me. Grab some there. whack of grease that's causing this stuff. Somewhere there's a spring or a catch or something that's. Alright. I don't work on these often enough to recognize the part that might be missing, but it's really easy to get this drive to inject. Like setting the drive down, I mean I hit the table a little harder. Setting it down. Setting the computer down might be enough to make it inject. It's like there's possibly a piece missing, or oh, I do see that I am going to probably need to put a little more grease on that there too. Thomas is asking, will there be a REFA show? Well, no, the analog board has no REFAs on it. So, fortunately, I think there's like a piece missing from this. I put the Oh, point 5 says possible the eject motor is in the eject position. If so, it should clear up once powered up. Dave's saying check the cam position. Oh, maybe I put it on. I put it on the way it was, but maybe it was backwards, or it was in. I choose to do. I think I'm doing the difficult part. Trying to remove the. It's towards the front of the drive. Is that the wrong direction? Waiting for confirmation. I don't have a Dave says it does not look right. All right. Well, it is possible. It is possible that someone really did have the floppy drive apart and put the cam in the wrong. All right. So let's try that and see if the. Maybe that's confirmation someone did take this apart and then put it together wrong. I usually put them back the same way I found them, but then again, I normally also don't have drives that have signs that they were tampered with. So, all right, let's try this. I have a machine I can. Yeah, just a second. Let me grab a. Here we go. Here we go. It's an LC2. Oh, let me see. Ah, yes, it does have a blue SCSI in it, so it probably has an OS. All right, I will need to put the. All right, even though the LC series shipped with high density drives, I could still use it to test this drive. Because, well, electrically they're the same. It's just I wouldn't be able to use a high density disk. So the LC2 will be none the wiser. And I do have some 800K disks, so the Mac will never know the difference. All right, the only thing I have to do now is find my Macintosh video adapter, which is probably going to be under something because of December. Which meant I didn't exactly need my Macintosh video adapter. All right, let me. Oh, here it is. All right. Video adapter, which I hope is set to a reasonable frequency. All right, let's see here. And I guess I do need a keyboard and mouse. All right. I do need to put some screws back in the floppy drive, and then we'll. All right. Then I can actually power it up. Because at the moment I have the. Actually, that does not seem right either. Actually, here we go. I got an idea. No, I don't want to take a floppy drive apart. I don't think the. Okay, so I'm getting confirmation the cam should have been opposite. All right. I don't. Okay. Power cycling will stop it in the right place. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. One floppy drive, a cable. All right. Let's see here. Turn the power on to the outlet. All right. And three, two, one. Oh, interesting. Well, that. Huh. All right. that the wrong power cable? No? Huh. Alright. Is it the floppy drive? No. Is it the power supply? Huh. Now we get to play the game. Why won't Justin's LC2 power up? Nope. LC2 does not need a battery. Power supply's been recapped. So is the logic board. Is the power there? Yeah. Uh, no. I do not have any LC2s with egret regret, at least that I'm aware of. That was an LC. All right. Well, let's check for. Oh. Oh. Oops. That's. There we go. All right. So I have. Oh yeah, I've got AC current on the line cord. No. LCs don't have soft power. Oh, hi, Robert McKay and Jason. Welcome. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Just check voltages on the power supply. Okay, so we have. Wait, power supply's dead. Huh. Jason says the stream is keeping me company while I work on populating an Amiga A4000 reproduction motherboard. So many passive components, so many. Thomas Armstrong says, got to love the birdseed. My luck, I sneeze and spend a day looking for it. Eh? Something tells me the switching MOSFET has. Alright. Okay. This is a Mac Plus stream, not an LC stream. This isn't like my only Mac LC. So, I'm going to put a note on it that will remind me that I need to check the power supply because it has low voltages on multiple rails. If I can find where I put my tape. Because if I don't put that note on it now, then I won't remember when I try to use it again what it needs. But I don't see what I did with my tape. Alright. Someone. Well, the MOSFET might have let the smoke out, but I don't smell the smoke. So it might have just silently failed. Alright. Let me put this. Oh, there's my tape. Okay. Alright. Let me go over to where I've got the tape setting. Let me make a little note for this. LC2. Set it on a repair shelf. I'm trying to find my black marker. I don't see where the black marker went, so I'll just use the green one. Alright, power supply. Add. Okay. Fortunately, I identified a part that I can use to repair it. So, alright, let me go put this on a repair shelf and I'll grab another. Okay, this is actually the computer I was going for first, but it was the third one down in a stack. But since the first one in the stack is now in a repair pile, and I didn't want to use the second one in the stack for this experiment, well, that means lucky LC. And now Gutbomb was asking, this is the one that has the egret of regrets. But I also know I've spent enough quality time with this computer to know that it should be in working condition. All right, there we go. There's that, and there's the keyboard. All right. 3, 2, 1. Although, actually, I can power that off real quick because now the floppy drive has cycled to the correct gear orientation. Now that probably means I need to put the Oh, hi, Mike's Future Retro. Mike says that's such a wimpy chime. Yeah, LCs are not known for their grandiose chimes. All right, let's answer this question. So, what is the correct? Let me unplug this again. Go. So, there's the correct gear orientation. It's an 800K drive. I think that means so it's ejected. So, am I going to have to disassemble another floppy drive to figure out? Ah, I don't know. It seems like there's something. Good night, Francois, and hi, Tim, and Mike's Future Retro. Yep, I am going to have to like. There is something. Something is amiss with this floppy drive. It's not. If I push this up, it's supposed to stay in the upright position, but it's not. Like, is it that one slider that's missing? Is maybe the. I think. I think that is the problem. No, it doesn't need a disc. And if it did need a disc, I should be able to push it in the upright position with, because that's the manual eject lever. When you push the paper clip in the drive, you're actually pushing that. So it should stay in the upright position. But I think the problem is this is supposed to catch on this, and it's not. And is that because that metal piece is bent? Maybe. Something is bent out. All right. Is the spring on correct? I think it actually it may not be. The spring doesn't look right. Oh wait, no, it has to be. Nope, that has to be right because it won't. Obviously, I know I got it wrong there. Go there. Like this metal piece here. Is that it? Did I finally get it to in the right place? All right, we'll let this. All right. Well, I guess there's one way to find out. Oh, Thomas Armstrong says JDW has a good video with close-ups. Which Guppa asks who has a year to watch that video. I certainly would like a more optimized video. No, that adapter should be. All right. Oh, yeah, let me remove this PDS card. That was not in there last time I powered the system up. I I've done enough of these. I shouldn't need to watch a video to put it back together. Um, should I have used? Oh, let me guess. I need to use the yellow cable that came with this drive. That's not the way it's supposed to sound. All right. Oh, hi, GUC fan. I don't know why it was chiming continuously. It shouldn't do that. I mean, it death chimed with the network card in, although the network card might have failed. Probably the wrong cable on the floppy drive. Okay, I know why it did that. That's because this is System 7 and no PRAM battery, so it will do that. But it shouldn't reboot again. I tried to... My problem with playing videos to try to watch... To try to figure out how to do it is it kills the tempo of the live stream. Um... Okay, I think there might be something wrong with my LC of regret. Well, this also kills the tempo of live streams. Having to try multiple computers that are all supposed to be working. It worked last time I used it. All right. All right. So I'm going to put the original floppy drive back in, which apparently I can't plug a cable in. And you can't see me struggling. That was not intentional. All right. Just want to... Having trouble... All right. Fine. You win, floppy drive. We'll plug this cable in first. All right, I've done something to the chat and it's not scrolling. I'm sure you all are probably yelling at me, so hold on a minute. All right. All right. I can tell you this, LCs do not require a battery to boot. So that's not the problem we're having. All right. Alan says, Pump says, speaking of tempo, Thomas Armstrong at Nose Saturday Night Live. GUC fan, power supply issue maybe. Seems like it's boot looping or maybe a device is trying to pull too much power. I'm pretty sure it's the... What's the chances I've had 2 LC power supplies fail since the last time I used them? All right, negative 5 volts. Dead on the money. Positive 5 volts, 5.02 volts. 12 volts, 12.10 volts. All right, not a power supply issue. That's weird. I think the system just... Yep, system just crashed. Again. Callan says I'd reset the RAM. Alright. I don't know why. Well, that's not RAM I would. EDO sim. That's not normally memory I would use in an LC. Okay, let me pull that RAM out. This is the only the VRAM is strictly necessary to boot. I'll just have to. Oh, I bet I know what it is. Probably the egret chip. Capcom says, I've never seen this before. Bruce said, Branca's Creation says, throw it away and get another one. Hi, Bruce. Long time no see. Point 5 says, looks good on screen now. Too soon, law. Yeah. Oh, hi, CDI. Welcome. CDI says, I'm only whispering sweet nothings. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Yeah. Gut Bomb is in all caps is telling me, hey, Justin, we aren't yelling at you. All right. Alan says, also just boot with the hard drive first. Well, yeah. This board here has an egret repair. What's the egret of regret? I have a feeling that egret is probably one of the pins fell off of it, presumably from electrolyte corrosion, and it wouldn't surprise me if whatever, well, I can tell you what caused it, leaking caps. It wouldn't surprise me if the next pin is broken. Oh yeah, and it's got the through-hole transistor to fix the surface mount one I destroyed, but yeah. All right. For lack of for in the interest of time, let me go. I've got an LC2 logic board. It's the one that I had in this case until I fixed this LC board. Let me just go ahead and put it back in this case. Just have to remember where I put it. Okay. Technically they're in the wrong box. Okay, I'm looking for a board that may not actually exist. That's nice. Yeah, the board I thought was the LC2 board that I had in this case at one point is actually an LC board that's a parts board. It's not going to work at all. All right. Um. All right. Well, I guess. All right. Well, I guess I get to pull another. All right. I guess I get to pull another LC off a stack. Yeah, it means this Blue Scuzzy's not allowed to go to Orange County. No, it's no overclock. Some of these blue pill based ones I was overclocking at the time when it seemed like you could overclock them. That's a bad idea to overclock a blue pill. That's my reminder that the blue pill on that board does not overclock. So, like, there's no use plugging that all in. Okay. Okay, so this LC is going to get a green tape note on top of it. I'll go ahead and put this PDS card back in for now. That it boot loops. Um. Well, I guess that's probably 2 computers now that will not be going to VCF East. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to fix that one in time. And, well, I wasn't going to take the LC2 anyways. Alright, well, let me go. Well, you know, if I was smart, I would have pulled the power supply out of that LC, and that was the. Well, apparently yeah, that would have made too much. Alright, let me. Okay, let me go get the LC2 that wouldn't power up, and I'll take the power supply to that other LC, and we'll make one working one. No, no, Mike, we don't have 4 months to VCF East. We have basically 3 months to VCF East. Because it's the first weekend of April. And I'm already kind of stressing out about the theme of the show, which. The sound of vintage is the theme of the show. All right. I mean, you can have tables that don't meet the theme as long as everything on the table has another theme, but they don't want tables of random stuff. It's more the what's broken on things and how many parts will be needed to fix it, and will it be within my budget for the show to fix the computer versus just having to take something else. Okay. Let's try again. This is the power supply that was in the LC Egret of Regrets machine. Oh, yeah, I was probably going to do or at least propose the exhibit I was going to do last year. All right, no surprise. Get powered up. Putting a note on this power supply that's in the system, because otherwise then I will go to the cell C to fix it and then wonder why in the world I put such a silly note on a working system. And okay, it does help to plug in your blue scuzzies. I was not there last year, Mike. My trip fell apart 2 weeks to go. Hi, Jack. Welcome. I didn't meet my fan funding goal last year, so my trip fell apart. Um. Yeah. So, and it doesn't help that I have to pay $20 per table when I apply. So the spending on the trip will start earlier than normal this year. Yeah, the 475 is a cool machine. All right, this machine boots. Finally, a system that works. All right, let me shut it down so I can actually plug the floppy drive that we're trying to confirm is actually working before I put it in a plus. Oh, it's 11:13, and we haven't started to put even a single piece in the new case because I'm having trouble with the floppy drive. That figures. Yeah. All my LCs are recapped. So, and the power supplies are recapped. So, but I was, so the theme of my exhibit, or at least what I'm thinking of, is like computers that my generation grew up with that have, I guess, sounds of varying types. So probably a C64 is a given. But of course, the theme of the show doesn't mean that it has to have a sound card. Uh, computers that just have a simple beep speaker can still make sounds, and they are the sounds of retro. But I'll sneak in my first PC rebuild because it does have an ESS 1689 in it, and that is a retro sound card. So I was thinking of or maybe even computers that I grew up with which I was going to get 2 tables. That's about. I probably will take an MSX computer, even though I didn't have one growing up. I was probably going to take one with the keyboard and software, because, yeah, that would be pretty cool. That's kind of why I was thinking of maybe making it computers my generation grew up with, not necessarily ones I grew up with. Because it would let me do so much. I was also thinking of taking a Mac Plus with the Mac recorder. I don't know how well the Mac recorder would work in a busy exhibit hall, but I mean, there's only one way to find out. All right, that's close enough. All right. Yep. Let's see here. Gutbomb says, I recently got an LC 475, and man, that machine is cool. Yep, I've got a 475. Ordered it all the way from Japan, and it is pretty cool. All right, I have no idea what's on this floppy disk, but let's see. Oh, it's a formatted floppy disk. Well, that's good. All right, special erase disk. All right, let's see if it erases. Capcom continues, it's supplanted the Quadra 650 as my most used Mac, since it's so small and easy to get off the shelf and just as fast with the soft overclock. CDS says my 575 was recapped and I was all happy, and now the analog board needs a recap as one of the colors has dropped out. Oof, yeah. So Mike says, so we kind of met at the 2024 show, or I guess he means 2023 show. You were online at consignment with Ron McAdams, and I was in front of you. And in the hour or so wait, I was talking with Ron, not realizing I was in the presence of 2 kingpins at Retro Mac Tech. Let's see, 475 versus 476. I thought the 476 was the faster speed. Maybe it's not. Maybe it was just a different SKU for another retailer. Oh, 0.5 says, nothing hardware-wise, came bundled with a modem and more consumer-based software, of course. Hi, Nelson. Welcome. Nelson Figuerosa's asking, is the wallpaper from the Infotron game? No, it's actually built into Mac OS 7. All right, so this floppy drive was able to erase the disk. And I'm trying to eject it. Oh, and it did not eject. I didn't even hear the... Oh! Oh, that's embarrassing. I forgot to plug the eject motor in. Okay, that's embarrassing. Like, oh, yeah, it's like it formatted the disk. So at least that's a good sign that the read-write heads probably work, because it was able to Erase the disk successfully. All right. Let's try that. It should eject the disk. Jack says there's a teddy bear desktop pattern too. Yes, there is. Yep, here's hoping it can spit it out. Well, we're about to find out. It should try to spit it out. There we go. All right, let's exercise it a few times, make sure it's reliable. Thomas Armstrong says I have a 476 clock to 32 megahertz. Neat. Capom says my 475 is actually a Quadro 605 board in a 475 case. Ha! Jack says your 475 has been around the block. Well, mine's been around the world. Because mine came from Japan. Thomas Armstrong says one jumper, 605 to 475. Mike says, I'll definitely be at VCF from Thursday to Sunday this year. If you need someone to watch your table, you can wander around for a break. All right, cool. Ah, yeah, point 5 says the 605 had the full 040. Yes. All right, so let's... All right. Jesse says, we have to coax Justin to VCF Midwest. Well, that's a bigger... that'll require a bigger fan funding goal. It is way more expensive for me to go to Chicago area than it is for me to go to New Jersey. Plus, I don't know if I'd be able to exhibit at Chicago because that's ways to drive. Oh, Gut Bump says the 605 still had the LCO 40. Jack says, lol, Jesse, I read coax as coax, like coaxial cable. Yeah, please don't kidnap me to VCF Midwest. I might not find that too kindly. Yeah, I put a full 040 in my 475, but I did not overclock it. CDS says, if anyone has a lead on an RC 040 rather than the LC 040, please let me know. I ordered mine, although it was probably a year or two ago, from Eric Woo's rare chips or something like that on eBay. And when he has them, they're more expensive than when I bought mine. So I know I'm not sharing my desktop, but all you would see is that I'm putting the disk in and dragging it to the trash can. Just a little bit too much lithium grease there. There's Okay, I think this 800K drive is working good. Point 5 says, I thought all quadros had a full 040. Gut Bombs says, the 605 is the only one that didn't. Jack says, that would have made too much sense, point 5, and Apple's products didn't make a lot of sense at the time. Yeah. Thomas Armstrong says, I got a 4040 RC on some random board on eBay for $30 US. I was happy. Yeah. Probably I would suggest looking for single board computers that are based on Motorola processors. That might be a way to get them, because it's quite possible you might get it cheaper by buying the whole board and stripping the processor off yourself, it's because it's probably in a socket, than to buy the chip already out of the board. Gutbomb says old PBX equipment too. Yeah. Gutbomb. I guess we'll just have to get Gutbomb a. Could we, if we get you a bubble suit, will that take care of your second concern about going to East? Might be a bit awkward walking by some of the owls because they do have stuff quite packed in some of the rooms, but we'll find you a bubble suit. All right. Capcom says a hazmat suit would be cool. Lol. Yeah. Capcom says, or like one of those Intel Bunny suits would be appropriate. I can't as much help with the first part, but so if the money part becomes a non-concern, then well, we'll find a way for you to feel comfortable being at East, even for a little while. Okay, so how did this go? I had so much fun with LCs, I've now forgotten which way that mounts in the case. All right, so that's right. That's the front of the case, and this goes like that, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Thomas says, open up a recycling depot, keep the good stuff. Yeah. That would be one way to do it. I can see it now. Mac 84's Image Writer Recycling Emporium. Slogan would be just don't ask questions in that Jersey style of CDS says there was a board at VCF West from a guy unloading his cart into the for sale free piles. I saw him and went yes internally, but he noticed the RCO 40 and then popped it off and took it back. Oh. Yeah, someone was about to get a good deal on that. Yeah, there we go. In fact, I would like to try to make a few more of the swap meets this year. Jersey's close enough. Yeah, they're like $80. That's yeah. If I get another 040 that's a better candidate for a full 040, then my LC 475 is going to lose its 040. All right, so there we go. There's our Mac Plus floppy drive that I guess once I got the gear in right, well, it's working correctly now, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, so without further ado, even though it's 11:30, all right, if I don't anything I don't get done tonight, there's a chance I'll continue on Dave's stream on Sunday, which I hopefully Dave will be streaming normal hours Sunday, because I got to the point where I could join the stream on Sunday. All to discover that they had ended early. Okay, Dave says yes. All right. Oh, so here we go. So there's the repair on the inside. So apparently this case I'd bought on eBay, this standoff was actually broken. So Dave has put his special Mac plastic repair goo in here, and he put a staple here. So this should hold this together. You won't see that from the outside. You can just tell, may not pick up well on camera, but you can tell just a little bit that there's been a repair here. But overall, this case was very yellowed when I sent it to Dave. It is definitely looking very nice. It is a little smooth here. Dave did stipple it some. But quite honestly, if you were just looking at this and I didn't tell you that there was any case repairs to it, honestly, I think you might just think this was like a mark or a scuff on the case and not think twice about the fact that this is a repair of a fairly significant crack. So yes, you did a good job, Dave. Set this on a table, and you might just think that's a scuff on the case. And that, quite honestly, is a good repair. If you can make it look like that it could just be a scuff. Plausible deniability. Works for me. Oh, yeah. Case has always looked good, except for that one place where I managed to scarf something across the front of it. Oh well, you live, you learn. Like, all right, so let's get this floppy cage in. Yeah, the texture work is great. I mean, yeah, it's light years better than the case that my Mac Plus arrived in, and it's leagues better than the yellowing that it had when I first received this case. Thomas Armstrong says, scratch CRT are scary to buff out. Yeah, I was cringing at the thought of what Adrian's going to have to do to restore the CRT on his Sorak. Just the thought of the process you have to do to get that safety glass off the front of the CRT. And the fact is, that's its anti-implosion mechanism, so... Oh, yeah, that's the other cool thing about VCF East. That's a good point. It's also a museum. So, and they have the museums open So yeah, it's the Museum of Sorts for the Fire Department, Radio Museum, and a Military Jeep Museum, plus the Computer Museum. Yeah, Adrian is a mad. Uh, re- uh, oh, it disappeared probably because of the typo, but I knew what you were typing, whoever was typing that. Yeah, Adrian is like very. Yeah, very good at those repairs, but even I would be a bit intimidated by removing the. Yeah, Mike said Adrian is a mad scientist of retro. Yeah, that's fine. I knew what you were trying to say, but it disappeared while I was trying to read it. But yeah, the thought of what you have to do get to fix those displays with cataracts. I mean, you got to remove the safety glass off of it with heat, which all while trying to not neck your display. That was my keyboard drawer, not the display. Anyone heard that pop? I have to. I am working on breaking my keyboard drawer like one misstep with my knee at a time. Oh yeah, I should probably disclaim that you should not work on CRTs or displays unless you know what you're doing. They can hold a pretty good charge, and of course they're glass and they're sealed with the vacuum. So obviously there's those dangers. Kind of one reason why I'm wearing safety glasses is since I am working on the CRT, which is glass and has a vacuum in case I did something catastrophic. I wouldn't do intentionally, but if I were to accidentally bump something, I want to keep my eyes safe from glass. Granted, if I were to accidentally neck it, it probably would just mean it would lose vacuum because it would take much more for me to break the front glass and actually make it do something. But still, where I'm wearing safety glasses, that's why I'm wearing these gloves. Just if I were to break glass, these gloves have a coated palm on them, so they would offer a bit more protection in the event I did break glass. And at least I would be sad, but at least I hopefully would reduce the chances I would cut myself. Also, the CRT hasn't been powered up for months, so that's why you didn't see me discharge it when I first started working on it. Because, in fact, you might have noticed the analog board wasn't even hooked up to the CRT, so it's been powered off for months, face down. So I didn't need to discharge it. So, anyways, I think that looks good. So, one thing you do want to make sure if you are working on these, not that this is a how to, but you definitely do want to make sure that you remember to reconnect the ground. I mean, there's other things you probably also want to do, but that ground is important. All right, so I got the CRT in, and okay. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so it is 11:40. I am at least feel better now that I have the CRT on the chassis, because now when if I get to the point where I've got to stop working on it, I can just put the cover on it and the CRT is protected. So I had it in a decent spot where I had it setting while I was waiting to put it in this new chassis. But I mean, could have still been a not the best of spots to set it. All right, so there we go. I've got the knob. So we'll put that in. I'm going to go ahead and put the analog board in. Again, analog board is another one of those things that you don't want to mess with if you don't know what you're doing. Because if I had to rate the scariness of the two items, probably the analog board that I find scarier than the CRT tube. So, because the CRT tube has high voltages, but they're low currents. Whereas the analog board has lower voltages than the CRT, but higher currents. This is kind of one of those. I'm just trying to get this together to at least kind of make sure things are working, because I don't have time to get the things Gutbomb sent me installed tonight. So I just kind of want to get this to the point where I can kind of show that at least the Mac Plus is back in a case. I can power it up and I can make sure that it still works. And looks like I'm going to have to find a few screws. For some reason, I am short a few screws. And I'll have to look. It quite possibly because it might be in the bottom of the carrying bag. All right. Put this upright so I can try to find the. There we go. Okay, that's lined up. Let's see here if I get one screw there. Hold the analog board in. One screw down here on this ground. Because even though there's a ground wire that attaches to the frame, this is also a grounding point for the analog board. Ideally, I think I'd have both screws installed here, but I seem to be short a few screws. And I have a 512K that's also short the same screws. Versus, oh. Oh, I'll show you what Gut Bomb sent me. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. I'll have to, it's in the bottom of the carrying bag. I'll have to pull it out. It's not a secret. I just don't have time to install it tonight. Alright, so let me go ahead and install the anode cap. There we go. That's installed. Alright, the battery holder will be fine. Let me get the logic board. Alright, so in this logic board, I have installed a Clipper Plus, but I don't have, well, I'll have to get a blue SCSI mount for it. Maybe if I get enough. Probably just need to get enough things that I need to have Gut Bomb print for me one of these days, and or get a 3D printer set up one, or fix one of the Prusa's at work. Yeah, the other day I needed to print something, and I got modern art. Okay, I guess that's another one of the Prusa's that's got something clogged in the extruder, and it's in our innovation station. But since it was not a for work print that I needed to print, I had to. Uh-oh. Well, my Clipper Plus came off the SCSI chip, so. Alright. For now. Alright. Where did I go wrong on. Alright. Let me snap the Clipper Plus. Well, actually, I'm going to have to take this apart and put it back together to install the thing Gut Bomb sent me. So for now, I'm just going to leave the Clipper Plus out. Do I have a diode installed on this for? No, I do not have a diode installed on it for external SCSI. Alright, we'll just use the floppy emu, because that'll let me boot into to whatchamacallit, Snooper. All right, there we go. So I've got the... All right, so I got the logic board installed. Analog board's installed. I got all the cables connected. Let me check. Neck board's connected. Logic board's connected. The deflection yoke's connected. I got the anode cap, floppy drive, ground. All right. Have I given blood to the frame yet? No, I have not. Another nice thing about these gloves that I'm wearing, just as the precaution in case I did something to the CRT. Probably because I remember that several people have managed to do silly things while working on their classic Macs. Oh, those are the wrong screws. All right, I'm going to put a couple screws in because work or not work, really not time to debug tonight. Text says the neck board's connected to the shoulder board. Thomas says, if you get a clear dot on the front of the CRT, that's not so good. Yep. All right, so what we'll do first is we'll do a power on test to make sure it powers on. It should, but... Oh, yeah, Dave put with my permission, Dave made sure it was okay, but Dave put a ready for power PC upgrade sticker on it, so that's how I'll know this is the one Dave sent me. Did I forget? I thought I plugged the deflection in. Did I actually forget to plug the deflection in? Oh, let me check. Wouldn't be the first time that I thought I plugged the deflection in and then realized I didn't after turning it on. Oh. I did. Okay. Yeah, it's ready for the Power PC upgrade. Just as soon as we figure out how you put a Power PC processor on an 8-bit bus. Or I guess a 16-bit bus. Sorry, Mac Plus, for degrading your bus by 8 bits. Alright, so I'm going to plug this in. The first power-up is just going to be power. So Alright. We got the drive, we got a beep. Turn the brightness up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Roll that beautiful raster line. There we go. Smoke test passed. Oh yeah, I got the... Yeah, we wouldn't have that nice screen if I didn't have that plugged in. Point out the spot where Dave fixed the crack. Yeah, it's right here. Which, if you didn't realize it was a crack repair, you might just think I'd scarfed something against the case. It's a great repair. With this computer sitting down on the table, especially if I got like it all set up, I don't think you'll really be able to notice the repair. It looks fantastic. So thank you, Dave. Okay, so I did promise I was going to show what GetBomb sent me. It was a while ago, but I wasn't going. I needed to put this computer in a case that I could actually use the computer before I even considered installing Gutbomb's goodies. So I have them down in the bottom of this case. So without further ado, let me get them and... Oh, I got more broken plastic bits down in the case. I will be pulling broken plastic bits out of this case for years, probably. Just like when you break a window in a car and you're finding glass for years later, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's got 4 megabytes on it. It's a nice Mac Plus. So, Gutbombs sent me a replacement 3D printed battery holder, along with the ribbon cable needed for the RGB to HDMI. So you put the coin cell battery holder there. And then I think you solder wires to where it needs to go on the analog board. And then there's where the DB9 goes for the RGB to HDMI. So I think it actually... Yeah. So this will replace both the battery and the... Well, and the fact it'll have RGB to HDMI. So, and then there's the ribbon cable for connecting that internally. I think Gutbomb did mention earlier in the stream, in the chat, that he has an updated version, so... Alright, and then he sent me one of Ron's universal TTL video adapters. So that'll let me hook it up to the video. And a package of battery holders. So and then I think the DB9 connector was on me to find. And I've got it somewhere. And apparently it's not in the bag, so I guess I get to find the DB9 connector. So I guess it's just as well I ran out of time for tonight, because I gotta find the DB9 connector. So, yeah. So that is an upgrade that will be... We'll put in this Mac Plus, because the battery holder's broken on the analog board. The 2 of the standoffs are broken off, so this is actually great that Gutbomb sent this to me, and that's how I knew this is the case that would get this battery holder, is because the one on the analog board's broken, because that was part of the shipping damage. But anyways, I would call this a successful case swap. So, got the Mac Plus into the case. Didn't do anything to the CRT. Analog board and logic board still works. Got the floppy drive lubricated and everything, so awesome. Yeah, Jeremy says yay for success. Yep. And, yeah. Oh, you know, I guess, well, no, I don't have a good way to show it. But anyways, so it powers up. We get to the flashing question mark. I know that I got the floppy drive reassembled and lubricated because we tested that in the LC too. So I'm not worried about that. So yeah, I guess the next time this Mac Plus is on the channel, we'll be installing the upgrade. Now, I may save that for Macintosh. I might, if I find the DB9 sooner, you might see it sooner. Anyway, so next week, I'm surprised no one asked sooner, but I thought I would try a new facial hair look, although it may not last the weekend. It depends on how it works. But Tom Barber's applying some peer pressure. So he's not getting full beard, but we'll see how it goes. It's a new year, thought I'd try a new look. Yeah, Jack says, Macintosh is scarily soon. Jack says, new year, new Justin. Yeah, Dave says, lol. Yeah. Anyways, so next week, Dave says, oh, that Tom. Yeah, Tom found one of my 7-year-old seven? No, I think it's older than 7 years. I don't remember when I uploaded it. Okay, maybe it is a 7-year-old video. Or 8 years old. Because I didn't it was something I uploaded several years after I made it, but Tom found one of my old videos that are still there. You can go to my channel and sort oldest first, and you'll probably know which one it is, or I can, I'll put the link. But Tom found it the other day and left a comment like, no beard on Justin, or something like that. And I was like, yeah. Like, I was my reply. I was like, I got peer pressured to do it then, and well, I grow my beard out, it's itchy, and Tom's like, well, I'm going to apply peer pressure. I don't know. I don't remember what the exact conversation was, but you're more than welcome to go watch the video. Jesse says, grow it or lose it. Yeah. What's the theme for January? I think my theme for January and February are get ready for VCF East. Although not all the streams will necessarily be VCF East related to things I want to take, but that may be an overarching theme of if I want to take it to VCF East, then there may be a higher chance that it'll show up. So anyways, now that being said though, I may have a stream where I try more work on the workstations. I did order a repair kit from Glitchworks for the Sun. The NVRAM module is a 48T59. I got the part number wrong last stream. So I left a comment with some correcting information. But anyways, yes, I was correct in thinking Glitchworks made a repair kit. I bought that so that I could repair the NVRAM module. Its installation method is definitely different because unlike the Dallas modules where you can drill two holes on the side of the module and get to the battery, well, apparently the battery contacts on this, I don't remember who makes it, NVRAM module for Sun, they're on the end of the chip. Not on the side of the chip. So it's like a 28 or 24 pin IC with 4 extra pins on the end. And the thing is, those pins aren't like legs that would bend down and plug in the socket. They're more like metal prongs that wires get soldered into inside the module. So basically, you have to to repair them, you take a hacksaw, no kidding, cut the end of the module right above where the IC is on both ends, and then you pry the whole thing off. Because apparently those 4 pins on the end are the only 4 pins that connect up into the epoxied part of the chip. So you just basically pry it off the top of the IC, and then yeah, and then you solder the Glitchworks board on. And Jeremy's finding every way to make me rethink my choices. Although I guess if I was going to look like someone, that's not necessarily a bad person to have the same facial hairstyle of. But anyways, So I ordered a repair kit from the Glitchworks for that one of the modules. So there's that. And I also did find the Open Boot Prom patch for those Sun workstations. So there's that. That's okay, Jeremy. That's okay. I was just, that was my strange mind being strange too. So anyways, yeah, I was kind of thinking I might do another workstation stream, although no guarantee that'd be next week. I kind of would like to go back to looking at the XT because I've got a memory board and a XT IDE for it. I think that might be fun. I'm just kind of naming a few things that I think might be fun to look at. I do have my other Mac Plus that I fixed the analog board, but the image is blown out. And someone suggested that I adjust the flyback transformer voltage. Although that won't take very long to try, so I may do that on Dave's stream, actually. Anyways, I got multiple things I might work on. Of course, I've got 2 LCs that need repair again, so... Anyways, I think with that, I'm going to call this stream to an end, because it is getting late, and maybe it was just the dread of going back to work after being off for a week and a half. Yeah, I guess it was a week and a half. I didn't sleep well last night, so... Yeah, Thomas Armstrong says LC's like being LC's like being fixed. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So anyways, I think with that, I will ask you to smash that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next, and tell a friend. So that's how the channel grows. Tell a friend that you think might like my live streams. So anyways, now that we're in 2025, we're back to regular streaming schedule. So whatever I decide to do next week, it'll be back to Tuesday and Thursday. So the deviation to Mondays was only because of Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I'm back to my regular streaming schedule next week. And I think with that, I am going to thank you all for joining me tonight, hanging out in the chat, being cool, and providing some moral support as I disassembled a Mac Plus, lubricated the floppy drive, and then started reassembling it in another case. And Jason says, thanks for the company. Final count, 48 components soldered. All right. Oh, hi, Sad Mac. Sad Mac says, catch you later. All right. With that, I'd like to wish you all a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.